artists! So today you're going to be learning a little bit about what colors in watercolor to put down first. Normally in watercolor you want to start with your lightest colors first and then work to your darker colors. Lighter colors, you can put darker colors over top and still see the darker colors, but when you do lighter colors, if you try to do it the other way, the color mixes and changes. So let's take a look at what I have here. So I've started watercoloring a landscape here. And the first things I did here was I drew out my landscape in pencil and I went over it to outline these lines in Sharpie. The next thing I did, the first color I actually did here was this yellow up top for the moon and the stars. These are my lightest colors. If I want my sky to be a deep blue or even like a dark gray because it's nighttime, then if I put the gray down first and then put the yellow on, I won't be able to see my yellow. So I have to do my lightest colors first. Again, then I move down to this grassy area down here, this light green. This is the next lightest color. So I went ahead and I moved down here to get that down. If I get the green a little bit in this blue area right here for my stream, it will be okay because my green will kind of disappear. But if I get my blue, if I put my blue down first and I get it too far over, then I'll be able to see it under my green like I did here. All right, so I'm going to keep going. My next darkest color that I'm going to use is actually my tree line back here. I'm thinking that this will be more of a sandy grassy or like a sandy beach area, and since it's nighttime, it'll look kind of brown. So I'm going to actually move up here to the darker green of my trees. So I'm going to find my green here. Let's go with this green. I'm going to go ahead and get it wet. So it's ready to go for me. And I'm going to take my time with these watercolors. And I feel like I need a little bit more color there, so I'm going to take my time here. And I'm going to go around each tree, making sure, and I'm going to move my paper around here so I can get right up to that line on the edge of my lake. And I need some more green here. So I can get right up to that line on the edge of my lake here. So this green color is darker than my blue color, so I'm still working from lightest colors to darkest colors. And notice I'm wanting my trees in front to be just a little bit lighter than the trees kind of hiding behind here. So I'm making sure that I'm painting my lightest trees first and then my darker trees. And I need to move around my paper again, move my hand around so that I can move to each line or move with each line. All right. I'm going to show you the darker trees now that I'm ready to move on to the darker trees in the back. I'm going to go ahead and find my darker green, or in this case, it's going to be a blue-green color. And I'm going to go ahead and get that wet. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in very, very carefully. It's just slightly darker. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. I'm going to move this around just a little bit. All right, so that's kind of how it would be. Then if I were doing my sandy area or my sky, those would be the last two things I did because those are the darkest colors. I'm going to show you a little bit of my sky here. I'm going to take a black, which with black watercolor, because I'm adding water to it, it's actually going to look a little gray. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go right up next to my moon. I want to be extremely careful, right? Because if I get black into my yellow, it's going to change the color. But I can kind of clean up those lines a little bit. So I'm doing a very, very light gray. And when I go around my stars here, I want to make sure that I'm not getting it too wet, but I can turn my paper so that I can get all the way around my stars. I'm being extremely slow here. And I'll do one more star, and then I'm going to go all the way down to my tree line. Then I can kind of go back up here and spread out my color so it looks even. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. Get a little bit more water so it keeps that gray color. And I'm going to get right up next to my star. I'm going to leave, and I'm going just right around it. I'm going to move my paintbrush and my hand around here so that I can get all the way around. Then I'm going to get all the way up to my tree line. All right. So when I'm doing my watercolors, to make sure that I can still see like my stars through here, I started with the lightest colors first, and then I moved my way back to darker colors, with my last being the sky and then my dark brown sand that I'm going to do. Happy experimenting!